Hi, welcome to the 5-Minute Trader. In this video we're going to outline what the best indicators are for making trades on StockPair. In particular, we're going to cover two different strategies. One will be the Bollinger Band and the second one will be the support resistance lines, and we're going to take care of drawing those in ourselves. So if you haven't yet checked out my video on the free stock chart setup or my rules of StockPair trading to help preserve your capital, please do, as those videos are actually the precursor to this video of actual trades. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you my free stock chart setup, and what we're looking for is the actual indicators. And right now, just to throw out some of the things that I discuss in my rules, is anytime you find the candles making their way to the middle of the Bollinger Band, you got to stay away from it. You can't tell whether it's going to bounce off the middle or if it's going to continue up or go back down. So basically, anytime I find the candle start moving towards the center, I stay away from it. The other thing that I really got to draw your attention to is when there's not a lot of movement, you really have to stay away from it. Because really the difference between 4911 and if I were to pull that up on StockPair, you can see there is actually quite a big difference. Great British Pound USD, that's the page we're on, and this is also live. So it's at 64904 and we're at 64909. Now, as you can tell, StockPair could go back down to 05. As you follow it, you can see that there is quite a big difference. Now it's out by about 7 points right now. Now it's out by 4. But if you bet in a certain way, StockPair does have a little bit of leeway to be able to make some slight adjustments to what you actually entered to how you actually end up. And that's probably one of the most difficult things to master, is to be able to get a trade at the most opportune time. Alright, that takes care of those couple. So again, when there's very little movement, you want to stay away from it. You want big movements, because if you can get in at the bottom of a big movement, the 0.0005 or 7 that StockPair is out isn't going to make a difference when it comes to the actual wins. Alright, USD Japan. Now this one I like to bet a lot on the USD Japan and the Europe Japan, because for the most part those two currencies trade alongside each other. Now, unless there's a big news movement that sends one of them out of whack, usually they end up kind of coinciding after the news release settles down a little bit. And if you bet down with USD Japan, chances are you're going to be betting down with Europe Japan as well. Now, Europe Japan, so we're going to stay away from that one for the moment because it's pretty much in the center. You kind of don't know where it's going to go. This one's actually looking pretty good, USD Japan. It looks like it's heading down, and we may be able to get it back on an uptrend. And so what we're going to be looking for, actually let's take this one, is when I draw a resistance or a support line, basically this is a line where you can see it's touched the line, gone back off, kind of bounced off. Now, as a currency pair, as the candle begins to move downwards in a direction, I kind of look for where the Bollinger Band is and where there was a support and resistance. So it looks pretty good that if it makes it to the bottom of this line, it's going to bounce right back up. It's a support resistance line. You can see that it's held quite a bit over the last little while, and we're going to give it a little bit of time just to see where this candle goes. And we could go ahead and try to bet upwards right now, but we're still taking a pretty big chance that it's not finished going down, especially when the stochastics is pointing in the downward motion. And again, we're spending our time looking only at the 5-minute candles. Alright, Europe USD. Now this one's moving up, and it's a good opportunity for us to look to see where there is support and resistance. Now, it did go up here, which is quite a bit higher than the Bollinger Band. So I'd like to usually pull it down to see whereabouts we're looking at for a line. And I would think that this one has a pretty good chance of pulling back up and hitting this line. But again, I don't want to make the bet until we actually see it hit the line. You can see the stochastics is up above the green line. There's a good opportunity for it to reverse back down. We're just going to give it a little bit of time. All right, this one again was pretty good, the Great British Pound USD. It's an opportunity for us to possibly place a bet downwards. So what I like it to do, and again, I apologize for the ads. That's one annoying thing about the free stock charts, but you know, it's free, so I'm okay with the ads. What we want it to do is we want this candle to go back up and touch this line. If it does, we're going to go ahead and place a bet. So we'll just give it a couple minutes and see where we are. Now, before we go too far, there is some things to watch out for when you're trading on the Bollinger Band. Now, we do see that there is a little bit of a fight here for it to actually go all the way up. It's gone up, gone back down, gone up, gone back down a little bit. Now, when we see the history behind the candle going outside of the Bollinger Band, we saw that it went out, had a little bit of a fight, went down, went back up outside of the Bollinger Band before it really started to go down. So we want to be real careful. We want to still see a little bit of this fight just above this line. So we're just going to give it a couple more minutes, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this into place so that you can see the candle, and you can see when I go ahead and pull the trigger. I'm going to say $200 down on the Great British Pound USD. And I think we're going to get ready to go ahead and do it. Now we also got to watch the candles. Now we can see that a new candle is going to form in about 3 minutes, and we got to figure out which way that new candle is going to go. If it doesn't go high enough, that new candle, if we were to start another 5-minute candle here, chances are it's still going to go up because of the Bollinger Band. But we're going to take a chance. We're going to go ahead and bet downwards, and we'll see what the results are like in about 5 minutes. Alright, so last second here, and we were successful. Again, not that we're going to have success every time, but as you can see, I went through the process of how and why we make the bets that we do. And if I were to go again, as you can see, the candle got pretty close to the top here again. We're going to go ahead and we're going to place another one down. We just want to see it push up again, so 7477, and we're going to go ahead and bet downwards. We'll see how that works shortly. Join back in about 5 minutes and see how we did. Okay, so we're in our last few seconds of this, and it's very, very close. Could go either way. Again, you can see it's at 6.8 here, and yet it's at 7.4 on StockPair. So sometimes there is an opportunity where StockPair kind of goes up and down a little bit differently than free stock chart. But for the most part, if you're playing with the Bollinger Band and you can see where it's going to start to go down, your opportunities for winning greatly increase. Now, that's about the only times that I will attempt to make trades, whether I'm making a trade on a support and resistance line or outside of the Bollinger Band. And again, these indicators are going to help you have a little bit more success than you might with StockPair. Now, they do have a sentiment tool on StockPair. If we can just pull it up here. Now, this sentiment tool I don't use because sometimes I'll bet up and sometimes I'll bet down, and yet this will not change at all. I've found that throughout full days of trading where I bet both up and down and won, this sentiment tool has not changed. What I do find is the success comes from trading using the Bollinger Band. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, as the Bollinger Band is kind of like a high and a low. And once it reaches a high and you have the stochastics agreeing with it, it's a pretty good chance that it's going to go down. Well, hopefully you found some value out of this video. It hopefully was able to help you make some better trades with StockPair. Again, you're not going to be able to make every single trade with StockPair, but if you take the time and take the patience and you wait for the right moment, you're going to find that you're going to have a much higher average of winning than you do with losing. one thing that I will kind of draw your attention to is I like to take some of my winnings and just use the winnings to place another bet. Because what I find is I feel a lot more comfortable if I were to lose that bet than what I'm doing is I'm going back to what my initial investment was. So please, give me some feedback on the video. If there's anything else that you want to learn about trading with StockPair, visit my site. I've got a lot of information on there that hopefully you'll find of some use. Thanks again. Bye.